What's going on, guys? My name is Tommy. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another episode of the Forgotten Races Review. Today, at the request of Mr. Samuel Thurman, we're covering the Tieflings, who appear in Pathfinder's Advanced Race Guide, Inner Sea Races, and most recently in their very own supplement, Blood of Fiends. Let's dive in. Actually, let's not dive in, because real quick, we've got to plug our patrons. Today, this episode of the Forgotten Race Review is brought to you in part by the Inn of Planar Crossroads. Guys, thank you so much for what you do. And again, these guys are hosting a one-shot in celebration of rolling over 100 subscribers. If you might be interested, here's a link to the giveaway video. And if you'd be interested in supporting this channel through patronage, helping us do bigger, better, more awesome things, as always, the link to that is in the description. Okay, now we're really diving in. So in the aspect of tabletopping, the Tiefling was originally introduced in the Planescape campaign setting in the 2nd edition of Advanced Dungeons & Dragons. They became one of the primary races in 4E, but have been with us from 3rd edition, 3.5, all the way up to 5th edition, and of course Pathfinder as well. Outside of the tabletop world, these guys are extremely popular as well. For example, when we talked about the Imperial Lord Regathiel, you can watch that video right here, we talked about characters like Hellboy, Dante from the Devil May Cry franchise, and there's a billion others out there. Humans with demon ancestry, parents made a pact with the devil in exchange for power, and in return their great-great-great-great-great-grandchild has little demon horns. You guys get the idea. We've had them forever, and they're super iconic. They are one of my favorite races to play, though really every time I roll up a Tiefling, it seems like that campaign just kind of falls on its head before it starts. But hey, maybe that's part of the spooky demon curse. In Pathfinder, a Tiefling is exactly as we described it before. A Tiefling is a humanoid with a faint trace of ancestry from the lower planes. They are probably the most misunderstood and maligned race in the Inner Sea because having this little bit of demon blood does not necessarily make them evil. However, of course, if somebody turns the street and sees somebody with devil horns or cat eyes, hooves, a faint smell of brimstone, any of the fun stuff like that, often the first response is torch and pitchfork. So these guys definitely live, in most cases, on the fringes of society. Most Tiefling babies are born with a sign of their future imprinted on them. Perhaps nubs of horns, spines on their arms, claws, barbed tails, but some don't manifest any marks until they reach their teen years and begin to mature. The process is different for each Tiefling. Some grow painlessly into adulthood, while others suffer in agony as their bodies transform in unnatural ways. These heritages express themselves in what appears to be an infinite variety, and they're not always in direct proportion to the amount of evil outsider blood in one's veins. And because Tieflings will often turn to other Tieflings to find friendship, especially in a world where everybody is judged, they will frequently intermingle and produce offspring whose traits seem to have nothing in common. Speaking of those differences, Blood of Fiends introduced a whole mess of new variant Tieflings, kind of like Blood of the Moon gives us Skinwalker variants, Blood of Angels gives us variants for our Aasimars, and even as of Blood of the Coven, we have variants for the Changeling as well. We have official stats for Asura Spawn, Daemon Spawn, Demon Dan Spawn, Demon Spawn, Devil Spawn, Div Spawn, Chitin Spawn, as if you needed any more reason to play a character with a bunch of piercings, Oni Spawn, Clippeth Spawn, Rixasha Spawn, and of course, the generic Tiefling has his own individual stats. We don't have anything yet for the Sakil or for the evil-aligned Great Old Ones, though certainly the Clippeth Spawn definitely fills that role. Flavor-wise, pretty much whatever you want is covered here, and each one of these variant racial heritages provides different stat adjustments, different skill modifiers, different spell-like abilities, and more importantly, a different story to tell. For the sake of time today, though, we're going to cover just the vanilla Tiefling. Of course, they can always be flavored as being from Hell, Abaddon, the Abyss, or wherever, or having whatever mix of demon blood. Again, that's kind of the beauty of a tabletop role-playing game, is you have that power, the flavor is in your hands. But the stats right now are in mine, and I'm going to give them to you. A Tiefling receives a +2 to its dexterity and intelligence, but a -2 to its charisma. They're considered quick in body and mind, but they're inherently strange and unnerving. They're outsiders with the native subtype, size category medium with a base speed of 30 feet. Tieflings have one of the most important things in the game, dark vision, specifically up to 60 feet, and they gain a +2 racial bonus on bluff and stealth checks. Tieflings can use darkness once per day as a spell-like ability with a caster level equal to the Tiefling's class level, and have cold resistance 5, electricity resistance 5, and fire resistance 5. To balance off that charisma neg, Tiefling sorcerers with the abyssal or infernal bloodlines, and I think it's only fair to let any other bloodlines that fit with this slot in here, treat their charisma scores as 2 points higher for all sorcerer class abilities. This includes their spells, their bloodlines, you get the idea. Tieflings can be played however you want to play them, especially considering when we include the vanilla Tiefling, there are 11 Tiefling races, and pretty much any stat boost you want is covered here. Specifically though, the Tiefling has access to a couple of racial things that are a whole lot of fun and really powerful, so we're going to talk about them real quick. First and foremost, Tieflings have an alternate racial trait that gives them a prehensile tail. They can't wield weapons with that tail, but they can use them to retrieve a small stowed object carried on their person as a swift action. This replaces fiendish sorcery, but on a Tiefling alchemist who needs to dig out a potion, or really a Tiefling anything that needs to dig out a potion, this can be invaluable. You might even, with a little bit of finagling with your GM, or maybe even something like a feat, be able to pick a lock with your tail, sleight of hand with your tail, you know, everything your rogue ever wanted to do. You have it right here on this. It's super powerful. I've referenced it in a couple of min-maxing builds, specifically how to build a really fun vital striking barbarian. You can see that right here. But in my opinion, like I said, super strong, don't miss it. The other thing we're going to reference today is the variant Tiefling abilities page in Blood of Fiends. Some Tieflings are blessed or cursed with unusual abilities. GMs may customize the Tiefling NPCs they use using the following chart, or allow their players to do so by rolling percentage dice. Players with a particular character concept in mind may consult their GM if they want to select a specific variant ability. These abilities replace a Tiefling's spell-like abilities racial trait, which isn't really important for a lot of our Tiefling builds, and a lot of them are really strong. For example, rolling a 46 on your percentage dice grants you an additional +2 racial bonus to your intelligence score. You can get a buff to your charisma score, the ability to go without sleep, go without water, but specifically, we're looking to get a 16 on the percentage dice because it reads, you have oversized limbs, allowing you to use large weapons without penalty. I did not reference this in our min-maxing for fun and profit episode where we talk about vital striking, but that's incredibly powerful. That means your Tiefling can run around using a 2d6 large longsword, using it in one hand. That means your Tiefling can run around with a 2d10 great axe and be Astaroth from Soul Calibur, except, you know, not a golem. And if our Tiefling becomes large or huge, that means our Tiefling can use huge or gargantuan weapons with no penalty. And I don't know about you guys, but the more dice I can put on the edge of my sharpened weapon to put in the enemy's face, the better. So if you feel like playing a Tiefling, definitely look at this chart. There's a lot of really fun, really flavorful stuff here. And again, there's also just blatant min-maxy stuff here. You can't go wrong. But I think I've said enough for today. What do you guys think about the Tiefling? Have you ever played one? Would you play one? Have you GM'd for one? If so, throw it in the comments below, and we'll keep the conversation going. Be sure to like and subscribe for more videos. The next episode of Min-Maxing for Fun and Profit, where we talk about a race that came from Bestiary 6 at the request of one of my patrons, the Yedithian, drops next Monday.